I'm Nancy Pfaff. Welcome to the fifth in our Lectio Divina series. Lectio Divina is an ancient spiritual practice of deep listening to inspired words. A short portion can be reflected on in a way that is personal for you. The way it touches you, challenges you, or comforts you, inspires you, or encourages you, helps you get in touch with your experience so that you can feel and enjoy the radiant divine essence that permeates the universe. In the introductory video to this series, I give you my background and explain Lectio Divina. Briefly, I'm a spiritual director. Spiritual direction is a confidential spiritual companioning. The real spiritual director is divine within each of us. As we share together, new insights arise and more wholeness results. If you're interested in spiritual direction, email me at sacredquestreno@gmail.com. If you haven't yet subscribed, just click that little bell and then you'll find out when we are putting something new up or when we go live. Jerome Waddle, my producer, is watching the chat, so do say hello and he'll pass your messages on to me. You're all welcome here, as this is an interfaith, non-sectarian audience. You'll notice that I use a variety of different words for the divine, including agape, which is that unconditional love in which we live and move and have our being. Our focus tonight is on a living spiritual master, Ku'ulei Alma-Francis from Hawaii. She has been initiated into the depths of the divine. I find her to be love and wisdom in human form. At the same time, she's just like you or me. Ku'ulei is a retired nurse. She once worked under intense stress in intensive care, cardiac care, and hospice. She knows what it is to go through tough times and find her way out. At one time, she faced late-stage cancer. Her inner guidance led her to take time off from work so that she could heal naturally. Just over a year later, she was cancer-free. A dramatic transformation occurred in her one night. As she lay sleeping with her husband and daughter, she was awakened by what sounded like loud trumpets. To her, it felt like a lightning bolt had struck her in the chest. A vision of a spiritual being assured her that the messages she was receiving were coming directly from the divine. I first learned about Ku'ulei in the Book of Composition, Personal Journeys of Self-Discovery. As I read it, I was inspired by the stories of the 12 women touched by Ku'ulei. Each had problems like you and I face, so the book is for both men and women. Through Ku'ulei's ministry, these women learned, healed, and grew. In Joss's story, she shares a word of wisdom from Ku'ulei. Listen with the heart, for this is everyone's true compass. In the book, Ku'ulei is described as a humble, kind, and soft-spoken woman. I see her special gift as love, and she brings forth divine wisdom in messages that heal, challenge, comfort, and teach. Lee, one of the 12 women who shares her personal journey, writes, Ku'ulei carries the light to kindle the light in others. Loha, another of the women, says she knows that a divine consciousness speaks through Ku'ulei. Ku'ulei has referred to this divine consciousness as the voice and says, I am not the voice. I am just the decoder, for the voice is within all of us. I invite you now to choose a safe, quiet, ritual space for our Lectio Divina practice. There will be 3 readings. I'll do the first, Ku'ulei Alma-Francis II, and Jerome Waddle, my producer, the third. A minute of silence will separate the readings. I will not be interrupting to give further directions. You'll have some time after Jerome's reading to simply be present to your experience. As we prepare to go inward, to open to the movement of spirit, let's take a moment to declare our intention. Your intention could be to experience agape in your very being. You might say, I open myself to the presence of the divine within. A simple ritual connects consciousness and the unconscious through an act like lighting a candle or some incense, ringing a bell, or putting a soft shawl across your shoulders. Whatever enhances your experience is for you. A gesture signals the body and intellect to relax so we can be spiritually attentive. I'm lifting my hand to indicate that my attention to the outer world is shifting to the vibrancy within. In the readings, I invite you to pay attention to what attracts you, to what interests you, what stands out, or even what disturbs you. An image may come to you, or a memory, perhaps a feeling or intuition, maybe something you can't quite put your finger on. What moves within you is a sign of oneness of being. Now, let's take 2 long, deep breaths with the exhale longer than the inhale. You may close or soften your eyes if you like. Now, let's enter that place like no other place. That time like no other time. Let's let nature help us. Picture a flowing stream. Ripples sparkling in the sun. Cold water splashing against the banks. Taste the sweet freshness of the air. Let that which burdens you slip away now into the stream as it flows. If anything remains, let it drift with the stream now. I am the living, breathing God in you. I am you, and I guide you from within. When you come to that realization, then you share me with others as you.
I am the living, breathing God in you. I am you, and I guide you from within. And when you come to that realization, then you can share me with others as you.
I am the living, breathing God in you. I am you, and I guide you from within. And when you come to that realization, then you can share me with others as you.
continue to be present to your experience. Now bring your awareness back to the present moment. Look around you. Let your eyes scan your surroundings. We've returned to ordinary time, but we're more fully ourselves. I find that I can deepen my experience by bringing it into the outer world in some creative act. It could be as simple as a prayer of gratitude. A subscriber shared her way of bringing an inner experience into the outer world. She searched the internet for an image to illustrate what she was feeling. The image she found brought an inner freedom and a fresh perspective. Any creative act deepens your experience. I'd love for you to share with me what you do. Let me tell you a story of my recent Lectio Divina experience. This time it wasn't a reading, but fresh spoken words by Ku'ulei. I was listening to her sharing what Source inspired her to say. The deep truths and teachings penetrated my heart. Like, when we self-love, we set humankind free. Open to experience. Be spontaneous. Experience the experience. Bathe every experience in love. A sense of loving wholeness began to expand in my heart space as I listened to Ku'ulei. Being retired, I was able to be present to that loving wholeness throughout the day. And I brought this experience into the outer world with a watercolor sketch. In the watercolor, there is a large round golden orb, which represents essence. And around the edges of that golden orb is a brownish line that is fading into the yellow. This reveals my awareness shifting from self as separate to God who is living in me. On days that are difficult or distracting, I can look at this image and that sense of wholeness returns. It continues to evolve in me even now. Your experience tonight is an experience of the divine as you. It may have been as simple as a moment of stillness within. Treasure this and look for these kinds of moments in an ordinary day. Deepen the stillness through a meditation practice. Some of you live in this deep place. Whether subtle or profound, deep within you, new life is expanding and will continue to expand. You're moving closer to knowing God in you, living as you. Some of you are already there. Thank you for joining me. I encourage you to get a copy of the Book of Composition to learn more of Ku'ulei Alma-Francis and the 12 Women's Personal Journeys. There is a link in the description. To enjoy Jerome Waddle's readings, just type in Jerome Waddle in the YouTube search bar or click the link in the description. I'd really love you to leave a comment. And if you'd like to inquire about spiritual direction or simply share your experience with me, write me at sacredquestreno@gmail.com. And now, may the love of God that passes all understanding keep you in peace.